Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be carrying on with I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. Load up our save game. So we're in year 2 now, we're about halfway through the year I think, maybe slightly over that. Doing pretty well, got 0 stress or close to it, there we go, 0. Got a bit of money to spend. The shop has actually opened up, so let's go and check that out before we do anything. Visit the supply depot. Okay. So we can buy cards here, that's pretty cool. So we could buy a cake, that's probably more of a gift. What are these? Are these like little perks that we can just apply to ourselves? Because I'll probably get the animals one, because that will mean that we can go and deal with that floating cow that we've been unable to do anything with. Yeah. So this is 9. If I buy this... Oh. So what do we do with that then? You'll keep adding to your deck as you age and can forget cards by spending time relaxing. You have a limited number of gear slots based on your organisation and other skills. Click gear to equip or unequip it. Collectibles that you find while exploring may be given as bonuses, or given as gifts to friends, or used during challenges for unused bonuses. Okay. So this is where animal books appeared, and maybe we'll do it instead of the sun medallion, because we'll get 5 to animals. There we go. So animals is now 14. Yeah. Ooh, okay. So we get perks to open up more slots. Collectibles, that's fine. Got our memories. I'd like to lose this one. I'd like to lose this one as well. Unfortunately, we can't choose which one we forget. Okay, it's kind of luck-based. Alright, okay. Well, that was cool. That's why we want kudos. I think I'm going to go out and explore and see if we can do anything with that floating cow. Well, we'll talk to an enemy first.
So then I trapped it in my room,
An enemy says, telling you all about the bug she saw in her quarters.
Its wings were as big as my hand, and it'd feel as like, whoa! It was bouncing all over the place like boing, boing, boing.
She gestures excitedly, swinging her arms over her head.
The bugs here are so big, and they're everywhere. I was going to give it to Tang, she says. She loves growth bug stuff, but she said I should just let it go, because if it stung me, I might get weird mutant powers. I mean, other than the one I already have. And I wanted to see if I got more weird mutant powers, so I started jumping around off higher and higher things until I was jumping off the back of the ship, and I got in so much trouble, but it wasn't even that high.
She stops in her tracks.
Hold on,
she says, stooping to rub irritably at her knees for probably the 100th time in the past 5 minutes.
Oh, I'm gonna die! I busted up my knees and it's so itchy when my scales grow in.
I don't know if this is a man or a woman. Auntie.
Annie, don't pick at it!
Chief Steward Antecedent's voice rings out across the garrison yard, pleasant but firm. It instantly transports you back to being in the ship Creche, tugging on her skirts and calling her auntie. An enemy jumps and stands up straight, her hands flying to her sides.
But Mom!
An enemy whines, digging her fingers into her knees as Auntie Sedent approaches you both.
It's so scratch-tastically itchy!
I know, lovely, I know. Auntie Sedent soothes her, patting down her riotous red hair. But the more you pick at it, the thicker your scales are going to grow in. An enemy tucks her hands under her armpits to keep from scratching.
What if I want to have cool scales?
She pouts. Auntie Sedent smiles indulgently. At the rate you're going, I'm sure you'll be covered in them before you know it. No need to rush. An enemy's skin is dotted with patches of protective blue-green scales that grow in whenever she gets a cut or scrape. She rubs the patch on her jaw indignantly, the one where she got up when she ran headfirst into the food synthesizer back on the ship. Auntie Seedent opens her satchel and pulls out a bundle of clothes. The patch for the nanoprinter is over a week long, so I patched your pants with scraps from your brother's clothing. Please, try not to put any more holes in them or yourself, okay? She hands the clothes to an enemy and kisses her on the forehead. An enemy sticks out her tongue and gags. Yuck. An enemy evaluates the clothes as her mum walks away. Galactic, she breathes as she runs her fingers over the odd-coloured patches. Then, right there in the middle of the yard, she unashamedly squirms out of her pants and pulls on the new ones. Wow, I look like a fighter jet from the Hollow, she exclaims, showing off her new pants. Like when they'd censor your kill count on your plane. Or like a really cool scar. An enemy grins. Yeah, you get it. My pants are scarred, just like me. Okay, so I was gonna go out, wasn't I? Okay, so we're gonna go... Oh, I keep doing that. Keep exploring. So we're gonna go and look at the floating cow, which we can finally do something more productive with, hopefully. Is it this one? Oh, there's an egg over there. Oh, I can't get to it yet. Oh, no. You leave the path and sneak through a strand of mush trees to one of the little sawmills dotting this area. It's a small but busy operation. 3 people feeding mush tree logs into some kind of machine, while a 4th one directs a 4-legged robot with a plasma saw mounted on the front. I think I've done this before, haven't I? But we can stay and watch what they're doing, get a card. You stay out of sight and watch how they do it. When one tree crashes down, it almost seems like the others are wincing. It's probably just your imagination, though. They aren't planting any new ones or leaving any behind. You know the mush trees regrow every year, but can they still regrow when you cut down everything like this? Even the smaller trees and bushes are getting ground up for mulch, with a scary big grinder that sounds like a roaring beast. The entire process makes you uneasy, but also proud of how industrious your colony is. We've got a duplicate of that card now. There's an exclamation mark up there now with another egg. See what this one is. Here we go. So, let's try and figure out what's wrong with her. You take a closer look at the float cow. You've heard they float using a certain ratio of liquid to gas in their membranous bladders. So after some consideration, you figure out that the bladder on her back must be too full of liquid. Oh right, so we're going to just pop it. After all, there's nothing for it. You have to pop her dorsal bladder and let the liquid drain out, or she'll never be able to flip over. She struggles and screams as you open your utility knife and jab it into her bladder. Immediately you're drenched by a hot explosion of what you hope is milk. Gross, gross, gross! The float cow spirals away as the sudden jettison of liquid propels her from you. You hope she'll be okay, but you are decidedly not okay with how you smell now. Okay. After all that, we kind of did the thing we could have done anyway. Dis is there. Alright, let's chat with Dis. The second sun is beginning to set, and you're planning your route back to the gates when you spot Dis in the distance. He waves you over. Hi, Solana, he says gloomily. He sighs. I wish we didn't have to go home. I wish we could stay out here forever. I'd miss my parents. What if... He begins. What if we didn't go home? Today, I mean. What if we stayed out and camped overnight? He gestures to the pack on his back. I bought a tent just in case. And a perimeter sensor. And I found a spot right near the depot that looks safe. Yes, camp out. How's our rebellion doing? Dis sets up the tent while you place the perimeter posts around the edge of the clearing. If anything trips this invisible wall around your campsite, at least you'll know about it. Without even saying goodnight, Dis crawls into the tent, takes off his jacket and stuffs it behind his head, then curls up in a ball, facing the wall. He falls asleep almost immediately. You crawl in beside him and pull a thermal blanket over yourself. You're exhausted from a long day of hiking in the jungle, so despite the excitement of being out in the wild at night, you quickly fall asleep as well. You both wake to a blaring alarm and bright lights filling the campsite. It's the perimeter alert. Something must have triggered it. Dis sits bolt upright and looks at you with wide eyes. Should you go out there to check? Yes. Bravery challenge. Okay. I guess we go 012. 012. 3, 3. Oh. Oh, we have to get 0 here, so... 0, 5, 5, 2, 1. You both carefully open the door and peek out through a crack. Nothing. Whatever it was, the lights and noise must have scared it off. The sun is almost up, and you are definitely not getting back to sleep after that, so the two of you eat soy rations and quietly watch the sun rise over the jungle together. When the surveyors open the gate and start prepping for the day, you pack up your gear and go home. You expect the worst, but nobody even noticed you were gone. You left the privacy curtain on your bed closed, and your parents must have come in late and left early, thinking you were asleep there the whole time. You're lucky, but it also makes you feel a little sad. Alright, so that's that for the month. Alright, well. I guess we could do some actual education. Let's just have a quick stroll around, see if there's anyone to talk to. Oh, there's Dis again. Dis is sitting in the bed of one of the expedition vehicles, tinkering with a bit of tech. He tries to hide it when he sees you, but it's in so many pieces that he only manages to shove some behind him before he gives up and glares at you mistrustfully. What do you want? What are you doing? Dis squints at you. Promise you won't tell on me, he says. Promise. They weren't using it, he starts, already sounding defensive, as he turns the biggest piece of the device over in his hands. It was just sitting there in command, so when they weren't looking, I took it. I took it and no one noticed. He seems excited about this fact. I think it's part of a communications device, he says thoughtfully. So I'm trying to figure out how it works. I want to talk to the aliens. Okay, I can't do engineering. It's a shame, I'm just below. Just be careful, okay? Dis nods and fiddles with the device. Who cares? He says. People on Earth used to use stuff like this, thinking that it could pick up the voice of ghosts, Dis says. But it was probably just radio waves, so I figure if I'm looking for radio waves... Aliens have to exist, he continues. Quietly, but with great conviction. They have to. You can't have this much life on a planet without someone being smart like we are. He sighs. I just want to talk with them, he says. Maybe I'd fit in more with aliens than I do here. Anything is possible. Dis nods and looks outward into the mushroom forest. I know you're just trying to be nice, he says quietly. Even if you think we're really alone out here and you're just lying to make me feel better. It's still nice. Alright. And he's supposedly my best friend, but I kind of wish I'd made best friends with Cal, honestly, but... He's just a bit of a misery, isn't he? Yeah, let's do a month in education. Let's engineering might be good. Or biology might be good. Let's go into engineering. So much math. It's everywhere. Physics is math. Computers run on math. Electricity, mechanical, engineering, chemistry, and anything to do with space. Math. Behind everything is some equation or other, to calculate how to turn one thing into something else, or to tell how efficient something is. They should have called this whole branch of science mathnageering. Okay, so this is all 5. So I think we just go 0, 0, 3, 5, 3. Gets up to 20. I'm not quite sure where the stars come from. 4 engineering though, pretty good. So we're an early wet now. Maybe we go outside. Or maybe we educate, rest outside. That's what we might do. Quick spin round, see if there's anyone around to talk to. Oh, there's a log here. What would we like to do? I'd like to get my persuasion up. It's only 4. That's rubbish. Yeah, should we do a humanities to try and get persuasion up? You're doing creative writing in teams and you're paired with Mars. Ugh. You wish it was Tang. She always does so well on these. The theme is Earth's natural environment. Mars takes the topic at face value and wants to write about how beautiful everything was on Earth, with blue skies and green plants everywhere, and huge oceans that went forever. It always looks gorgeous in the carefully staged movies you've seen on holovids. So we could run with Mars's idea and get +1 if the card to the left is a blue. Or learning about Earth for a +3. I think we're going to write about climate problems instead. Mars wants to write about Earth's lush forests and deep jewel-like oceans, but you stop her. Wasn't Earth basically on fire when your parents left? You decide you should spend extra time researching how things really were. You've heard the basics from congruence, but what was it actually like? You ask her for all the information she has on the ecological collapse of Earth. Well, congruence replies, first, carbon emissions trap the heat of the sun, which raised the global average temperature. You ask her to stop so you can look up carbon emissions. Then she continues, so the polar ice melted and the oceans rose, and became too warm to sustain life. Mass weather disruptions caused grasslands to become desert, then the bees died, and then so did everything they used to pollinate. Food instability caused wars to break out. By the time your parents left Earth, everything was essentially either underwater, on fire most of the year, or irradiated. Learning all of this stresses you out. All of that just because people wanted to drive in cars and own lots of stuff made in faraway places and have big families and keep their big houses the same temperature all year, all by burning dirty mud they dug out of the ground. Could that happen here too? You're too bummed to present your findings, but Mars steps up. She gets a few facts messed up but presents it well. She ends on a high note. She doesn't think the mud here on Vitumna is as flammable as the weird mud they had on Earth, so no problem. You don't get an amazing grade. Mars accepts this with grace, but still thinks you would have done better if you'd gone with her idea. Here we go, studying humanities. Okay, well we got a 22333, haven't we? So that looks good. There we go, how's that? Three creativity, 2 persuasion. Good. Early wet. So I think this month we're going to rest. I know it's only 80 out of 100, but I want to be 0 stress next month when I go out for the last expedition of the year and see if we can maybe clear all the things we've still got remaining there. Do a quick go round, that's fine. So let's pop in and have a look. Well, we could try the wall to rest. That's opened up now, isn't it? Relax on the walls. So we get more friendship with Dis and lose 100 stress. So we'll do that. After the first attack on the colony, they added lookout towers to the walls. Now you have a place to hang out if you don't feel like working, and because it's all the way up here, no adults are going to come and ask you to run any errands for them. On rainy days, you take shelter under the pavilions and listen to the pitter-patter of warm raindrops on the grass roof. You can do whatever you want. Ah, this is the life. Well, more than anything I want to relax, so maybe the perfect place to slack off. It's the perfect place to catch up on holovids you've been meaning to watch, and to chat with your friends on the colony's social media. Oh, hey Solana. Dis pops his head up a nearby ladder and looks surprised to see someone else here. Do you mind if I sit here too? Ooh, just keep your stink downwind. Sure, there's plenty of room. The two of you dangle your feet off the side and watch the valley below. Dis shuffles a little uncomfortably and doesn't say much. You wonder if this was his private spot to be alone before you discovered it. I don't want to forget either of those. So I think that's just done. Cool. Right, so now it's expedition time, so let's go out again. See if we can't get some of these finished off. Some farmland has spilled outside the walls. The fields don't look like they're doing very well. Nobody's around right now. In fact, it looks a bit abandoned. There are some meagre-looking crops ready to harvest, but animals are starting to get at them. Maybe we should try to plant something. You're just a kid playing at being a farmer. You mess around for a few hours, planting some things that look like seeds, but it's unlikely any of them will actually grow here. However, we do get 2 biology, so that wasn't a complete waste. Some more wood. That's back to the colony, so we'll go round back up to where Dis was, and we'll carry on around from there. Quick check for resources down here. Ooh, got another thing here. You hear screams from just over the next bluff. Human screams. Yikes. You crest the bluff to see Tammy's father, Chief Surveyor Tonin. He's being attacked by something you've never seen before. A 4-legged creature with a huge mane of flowers, a mean reptilian face and 2 wicked claws. What, is this a manticore? You've heard of fierce creatures like this outside the walls, but you never expected to ever see one up close. What is one doing so close to the colony? Uncle Tonin is pinned under one of the creature's pointed legs. He's struggling to get free, but the manticore keeps dancing around like it's playing with its food. You can hear it from here, growling and clicking its mandibles. But you snuck out. If you try to help, he's going to know that you snuck out, and your parents are going to be so mad if they find you out here. Leave and pretend we didn't see this. Uncle Tonin and the manticore. Panic rises in your chest. How could you even help him? It's a huge, deadly monster. So go and get help was what the defense guy said. Maybe that's the best option. Let's do that. You turn and flee, beating your way through the undergrowth to the last place you saw the group from expeditions. Oh. By the time you return with Assistant Surveyor Utopia and some others, Uncle Tonin is gasping his last breath, and the manticore is nowhere to be seen. It's too late. The would-be rescuers fan out, scanning the tree line for signs the manticore might be on its way back to finish what it started. You run over to Uncle Tonin and fall to your knees at his side. He's hopelessly wounded. You'd apply pressure, but there's nothing left to apply pressure to. It's astoundingly horrible to see and to smell, searing into your memory forever like a flash grenade and leaving you lightheaded. He reaches clumsily towards you, his eyes glassy and unfocused. Tammy, he gurgles. Tammy, Tammy. You'll see Tammy soon. The only saving grace is that if there is something after this life, they'll be together again. Tammy, Tammy. He keeps croaking, mouthing the words when his voice gives out. Eventually, after a great gasping silence, the expression of pain and fear gives way to one of deep eternal peace, following his daughter into the great unknown. The other adults come and guide you away from his body, bundling you into an expedition's vehicle. No one questions why you are out here. They're just glad you're still alive. Even if Uncle Tonin is dead. Well, okay. I was hoping that would be able to save him, but it did not. So we're back in glow. Maybe we go out this time. I think I'm going to go out again. Oh, we can't. Hey, what are you doing? Dis says, spotting you trying to take the grate off the drain pipe that leads outside the walls. Don't be a nullhead. Haven't you seen the extra lookouts on the walls? They'll spot you for sure. Then they'll find our secret exit and it'll be gone for good. You suppose he's right. They have been patrolling a lot during Glow. You wouldn't want to be caught. Fine. Alright. Alright, let's do education again. So what do we want to do? Organising would be good. I don't think any of this teaches me organising, though. Alright, then we'll do engineering. Professor Hal is a first-class nerd. You can almost always ask him a question that makes him spiral off into a long explanation, going into way more detail than you'd ever need to know. It's a useful skill for those days when you don't feel like doing schoolwork. Alright, what's the crystal do? Redraw hand. Interesting. We've only got 15 to get to though, so it's not exactly arduous, so we'll go 0, 1, 3, 3, 5. For engineering. It's been a quiet Glow, but the grim, surreal darkness of the season reminds you of last year's violence. As the month wears on, you overhear arguments at dinner, adults worrying that an attack is still coming, and others who think the first one was a fluke. Surveyors mention seeing new tracks in the forest, but are shushed so people don't panic. The gates are closed. You drill emergency procedures, filing soundlessly from the classroom to the creche to hide under tables, waiting for the sirens to call the all clear. You drill and prepare and worry, but nothing happens. Then, just as Glow is starting to wane, the toxic purple spill of the wormhole fading as the suns almost rise past the horizon again, the sirens start. You're reading a holonovel in bed when you hear them, followed by the stomp of boots down the hallway outside your quarters. An alert flashes on your holopalm. Shelter in the creche. This is not a drill. You get another message from your dad. Me and Mum are going to stay in the greenhouses. We're safe. Just follow Auntie Anne to the creche and wait for us, okay? Don't worry. We're way more prepared than we were last year. Love you. Stay safe. You could go to the creche where you belong, or you could follow the security guards and see what's happening at the gates. Hiding in the creche. Head for the gates! You sneak out of the living quarters and head towards the gate. You're immediately spotted by Security Chief Rhett, who stops what he's doing to yell at you and gesture angrily.
What the hell are you doing out here? This is no place for kids. Get your ass back inside.
Try to help. 35, huh? Okay. Well, we've got 3 threes, so I think we'll do that, shall we? Ding. 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 Not too bad. I guess we'll do 2, 2, 5, 5. No. See, I don't know why I only got 1 star for that. I would have thought I did. 21 out of best score, 26 last round only. Okay, maybe there was a more optimal way to do that, what I did. Oh well, that's 5 kudos. You stick around the outside of the skirmish at the gates, throwing rocks and yelling at any creature that gets too close. You're not sure if you make a difference, but the good news is, at least you're not injured. When the dust clears, Rhett spots you hiding in the shadows and personally escorts you back to your quarters where your mum and dad penalised you for disobeying them. When things have calmed down, you overhear your parents talking. I'm not going to be the first to congratulate Rhett, but all of his defensive improvements were exactly what we needed. Your mum grumbles. Ugh, he's going to be insufferable at the next council meeting. Your dad pats her hand. Credit where credit's due. Flulibel, he says, and he smiles despite himself. It could have been worse. Your mum nods and they both sit in silence before your dad speaks again. Poor Hal, he sighs. What a way to go. Professor Hal? Your parents startle. Hey, Pumpkinhead, your dad says. Yeah, they're going to announce it in a few hours, after everyone's had a chance to calm down. He didn't make it. What happened? Oh, don't worry about that, your mum replies, shooting your dad a look to keep him from talking. It's adult stuff, okay? You guys won't be able to go into the engineering wing for a little bit, not until it's decontaminated. You curl up quietly to think. Professor Hal just can't die. He can't just be gone. He's your teacher. And the engineering wing is where you take classes. You can't imagine something bad happening in such a safe place. You fall asleep thinking for sure there's been some mistake. So another year passes. So quite big gains. In terms of the biggest gains, it was bravery, animals, combat, perception. Not too bad. Friends with Dis, the enemy, Tangent and Cal. Lost friendship with Mars. So, our last year of being a preteen. Then we'll get really into being a teenage exocolonist. Right then. I guess we'll have a quick spin round just to see if there's anyone who wants to talk. Another one of these. Yeah, it's a little bit sad, honestly. We've lost a few people now. We've lost Tammy, we've lost her dad, Tonin, and now we've lost our teacher. Which isn't great. So what are we doing here? All physical skill increases for 3 months. So I think we do a session here. Maybe defense training. And then we'll rest, and then we'll go out to do an expedition. Part of self-defense is training your body so that it can be ready for any situation. The security chief has you running laps, jumping through tires, climbing walls, and sprinting back and forth. He has this inverted anti-gravity pad that makes your limbs feel super heavy. When you do jumping jacks on it and then do them again in normal gravity, it feels like you could jump straight back up through the wormhole. It's exhausting, but not that different than sports ball training. Alright, this is a breeze. This is great. It feels good that Rhett actually challenges your body and encourages you to achieve peak condition. Only 17. I think we do 2, 0, 3, 3, 3. Yeah, so I think you get all the stars when you get your best possible score for the hand. So yeah, 4 combat, 2 animals, 15 stress, and a kudos, and friendship with an enemy. You've been having weird dreams as usual. They seem to get worse around glow. You wake from a dream that has tears drying on your face, though you can't remember why, just that you were terrified. Whatever it was, it felt real enough that for a moment you just lie in bed with your eyes closed and try to calm your breathing. You blearily rub your eyes and... Surprise! Oh, it's your birthday. Your dad leaps onto your bed and gives you a big cuddle. Happy birthday, little tomato head. 12 years old. Wow, can you believe it? No, your mum answers for you as she hands you your presents. It was just yesterday Antecedent was showing me how to change your diaper. Antecedent, yeah, I see. Because it's your birthday, your parents have brought in food from the canteen so you can eat all together on your bed. As you stuff your face with savoury tofu chunks, you open your present. Which one is your favourite? Bouquet of flowers. That's a 0 orange. That's a consumable, I think. Toy Xenofauna, +1 to strength cards. Oh, that's not bad. Or Photophonor. Now these are worth 100 kudos because I remember I couldn't buy one in the shop. +1 to yellow cards. I think we have a lot of red cards compared to the other stuff, so let's go with the stuffed Xenofauna from our dad. I taught the Nana printer the pattern based off of your pictures from expeditions, your dad says, watching you play with it. They called it a Spectoraptor, he continues. Say, it looks like it's wearing glasses on top of its 5 eyes. They said that's because its lenses are outside of the eyeballs. Isn't that wild? Nothing like that on Earth. As your dad clears away the wrapping paper and the dishes for breakfast, your mum folds her hands on the table and gives you a serious look. Uh-oh. So, she says, we've been here 2 years now. I know your dad and I have always said you're in charge of your schedule, but we've been keeping an eye on you. A loving eye, your dad interjects, stuffing wrapping paper into the recycler pickup bin. A trusting, gentle eye. Professor Hal used to tell us all the time about how hard you're trying in school, your mum continues. That's great. Your dad and I are really proud of you. Working might seem fun and grown up when you're a kid, but if you want to do more than manual labour, you'll need some book smarts too. Your dad joins you again. So, it's time to start thinking about how you're going to contribute to the colony when you're older. At the look on your face, he laughs. Don't worry, we're not going to make you get a job right now. We're just asking, what do you want to be when you grow up? A monster hunter. Your mum laughs. You've been playing too many hologames, Solana, she says. Hunting monsters? I hope it doesn't come to that here. She rubs her leg under the table where the prosthetic attaches to her bone. Just remember, being a hero isn't all it's cracked up to be. Well, your mum starts to get up. I'm sure your friends will want to wish you a happy birthday. She stops and snaps her fingers. Oh, you might not have considered her career as a depot clerk, but Al and Bernie mentioned their daughter Mars is working there, and she needs some help. Now that people can freely order luxuries, it's pretty busy there. Sure about shoveling dirt, your dad laughs. If you don't take that job, you tell Mars I'll be right there. Your mum rolls her eyes and smiles. Okay, so pretty stressful, so may do a rest and then an expedition. So what's going on in the depot? Well, we can't afford any of this. Actually, that's an idea. We got that new car gear, didn't we? So let's pop that in there. Oh, Saturnin was standing there. It's Utopia now. Alright, where should we rest? We could rest in the natural dorm this time. You split your time between watching holovids, listening to music and studying for class. Occasionally, someone asks you to run an errand for them. You go on long walks. Overall, you spend the month relaxing and doing whatever you want, whenever you want. You really needed this. I don't want to forget either of those cards. Okay, so let's go on our expedition then. See if we can't tick off a few more things. This time, anything with an exclamation mark we're going to leave, I think, because that sort of seems to end our session more often than not. We've seen this one before, spit seeds. Okay, our combat's getting quite high, 18. Apparently we found that quite stressful. Okay, that's just back there. Could go over here. You let your mind wander as you're walking and bumble straight into a field of gelatinous blobgrass. We've seen this before. Look for a path through it. So some of these repeat. Well, I mean, I guess we go 2, 2, 3 then? Uh, 01, 05. I'll put 6 there, then we'll go 2, 3, 3, 3, I suppose. There we go. Maxed it out. There, I'm not going to read that again. We did that in the last episode, I think. Oh, bit of wood. The spark snow has been drifting around you all day, igniting teensy sparks where it touches the ground, but now it's really started coming down hard. Hard like hail, not snow. Except this hail ignites, more like explodes on contact with solids. So with 20 perception we can find something to use as an umbrella. You break off a large leaf on a long stem and hold it over your head. It makes a pleasant kind of thrum as the drops splatter on it. Okay. 50 stress, so we could probably do 3 more. Oh, another one of these things. We like these. This hop eye is acting really strange. It won't let you pass. It suddenly starts flailing around like there's something wrong with it, even though it was fine a second ago. It keeps pausing to look at you, then goes back to flailing. What's its deal? 27. Alright, let's go. 2, 2, 3. We do all the reds, maybe. 3, 4, 5, 5. 2, 3, 3, 6. You stop trying to get past it and just listen. Oh, you can hear little squeaky noises from nearby. It's probably warning you away from its nest. Oh, we have done this one. You carefully avoid the nest while speaking in soothing tones. The agitated little guardian titters warnings at you, but eventually lets you by. Okay, we've got another log here. I think we can go up this way, can't we? We've done this one too. Hike it. We're going to see the rock. I'm going to resist this time because it destroyed our bag today. The last time we did that. Alright, what are we at? 85. Okay, this will max us out. I think that's okay. This planet is full of all sorts of bugs. Little wrigglers, hopping beetles, shining creepers and snaily things. Oh my. You crouch in the long grasses and explore a square meter in great detail. There's so much to see. You don't even know what any of these things are. They might not even have names yet. Let's touch one. Ew, you touched it. You're too worn out now and tired to continue. You'll have to go home. Well, that's fine. We were probably likely to do that anyway. Spent the month exploring. Here we go. So we're in Pollen. Let's have a look at our friendships list. So yeah, Dis is doing pretty well. I'm surprised we're not higher with an enemy because I'm sure we've raised their friendship quite a lot. Cal, they're quite high. Mars is low. Tammy's dead. Oh dear. Okay. I guess we'll rest. Let's do it on the walls this time. Actually, let's just do a quick spin round the NPCs and see if anyone's got anything particular to say. Yeah, we're going to go rest on the walls, I think. Oh, can I not? Oh, it's probably here, isn't it? Yeah, relax on the walls. The only spot of excitement this month was when you filled in for an enemy when she needed to use the bathroom, and just by chance you happened to notice a small pack of Hopeye starting to chew through some cables. An enemy is a little peeved that you got the accolades for spotting them, but it's not like she can complain. You weren't even supposed to be on lookout duty. Once again, we like those cards, so we're not going to get rid of those. Your dad comes back from work one day looking seriously under the weather. He's pale, with deep circles under his eyes, and he keeps sneezing. It's fine, he insists. It's just all this pollen in the air. It's gunking up the old air tubes. Do you remember hay fever, Flulu? We always used to get it back on Earth, too. Your mum frowns and crosses her arms. We did, she agrees, so why isn't it bothering me? You're a lot tougher than me, Sweet Pea, your dad says, and your mum rolls her eyes. I'm sure I just have to get used to it like you did. Maybe I'll go for a stroll outside the gates later. Really get a good lungful of the stuff. I'll feel bad for a few weeks, but after that, I'll be fine. Your mum raises both eyebrows. Outside the gates, you. Your dad shrugs, then he falls into a fit of sneezing and can't answer. Your mum directs him to go lie down on their bed. You need rest, not machismo, she scolds him. I don't have achoo! Your dad sneezes. A macho bone in my body. Foo-foo. And I have to fertilise the corn and the pixie beans this week. Uh-huh, your mum grunts. Your mum grunts. Your dad pulls a handkerchief from his pocket and sneezes into it a few times. Big yelling honk sneezes that echo through your whole quarters. He pulls it away from his face and you can tell that something's wrong. Huh? Your dad says weakly, holding the handkerchief away from his face. It's bright fuchsia pink and glittering in the light. That's weird. Then his eyes roll back in his head. His knees buckle and your mum yells for you to call Instance. Chief Engineer Instance takes your dad's vitals and gives him a cursory look over, but she seems satisfied with what she sees without having to do a thorough examination. The explorers have started calling this the Shimmer, she says, shining a light down your dad's throat. He's looking a little better, but not much. It's an airborne environmental toxin, likely in the pollen fog. Will he be okay? It doesn't seem to cause long-term damage to the body, Instance explains. She gestures in the air, making notes on her hollow eye that only she can see. I've been tracking its effects for 3 seasons now. The toxin is flushed out of the body after 3 to 5 days, and it's not contagious. She looks down at your father. What this means for you, Geranium, is since you're particularly susceptible to the toxin, you should be taking better pains to avoid exposure. If you must go outside during pollen, use a respirator. Your dad smiles weakly. Yeah, got it, boss, he says. Your mum smiles and puts her hand over his. As your literal boss, I'm ordering you not to come into work for the rest of the week, she says. You're on strict bed rest. She leans in to touch her forehead to his. They stay like that, smiling with relief. Even after 1 day of bed rest, your dad is looking a lot better. He's clearly anxious to get back out into the fields. You're going to love this new crop, Solana. It's called a pixie bean. They glow in the dark. He's already pulling on his boots. The fields look so beautiful at night. I'm happy that we finally found something that would actually grow here that isn't soy, and more soy. I'm happy too. Okay, so that's that. We can maybe go and do another lesson. Tangent wants to talk to us. Okay, we'll go talk to her. Your hollow palm pulses with a message from Tang. Hello, Solana. If you're not occupied, could I ask for your assistance in the lab? Thank you in advance, Tangent. Typical Tang, but her asking for help is something so rare that you can't help but head over right away. You find her hunched over a spectrometer, making notes on a holoscreen. Oh, you're here, she says, blinking rapidly. She looks like she's been awake for days. Wrinkled, a little shiny, and with the wild-eyed look of someone who needs a cup of blep tea. How can I help? I'm researching the Shimmer, the respiratory illness some people report during pollen, she says. I'm loath to admit it, but I need your assistance. She takes 4 vials with swabs inside and puts them into your hands. I need recent saliva samples from both you and your father, she says. There must be a reason why he's so susceptible to the Shimmer and you're not. You share half your genetic code with him. There must be some marker we can compare between the 2 samples. Then, she continues, pulling another vial from a rack of test tubes, administer this to yourselves, wait 3 days and take the samples again. The test should be able to determine if anything in your body chemistry has changed. Tang looks at you very seriously, cutting through her bleary expression. There's something going on here, she whispers. Something really, really big. I've begun to realize this is about more than just curing a disease. She squeezes your hand so hard it almost hurts. Unlocking the secrets of the shimmer, who it affects and why. It could lead to a greater understanding of all life on Vertumna. And knowledge. Knowledge is more than power, Solana. It's control. Are you okay? You seem unhinged. Tang blinks again. I'm perfectly fine, she says dismissively. This is the face of complete concentration and focus. I'm in the zone, Solana. Okay, I'll do it. Thank you, Tang says. I've been researching so hard I think my eyes are going to fall out of my head. And for what? Well, for the end of a debilitating disease is a pretty good reason, but Tang just shakes her head at herself before you can answer. We're at a disadvantage here, she mutters. We're fighting blind. We need to understand the planet if we're going to get it under our control. Okay, so let's go up to Dad. Dear old Papa. Oh. What do we do? Do we talk to her again? What about if we go into like our home module? Tangent is storming around the quad in front of engineering, checking notes on her holopalm, gesturing and grunting in frustration. Ah, this is the worst! What's the matter? I can't possibly... Ah, she says, her voice cracking. She seems too upset to even explain it. Professor Hal! She tries again. Hal, he was helping me with this physics chapter, and now he's... She throws her hands in the air, virtual holopalm screens flying everywhere. I can't understand this without him. This is impossible, she chokes out. Why did he have to die? I miss him too. Tang nods angrily. He was a good teacher, she says. He didn't deserve to die. I wish I could have done something to save him. You both go quiet for a few seconds. Eventually Tang sighs. Well, we can't count on the adults to protect us, that's for sure, she says. We'll have to do it ourselves. Well, good luck. Tang nods, going back to her notes. Thank you, she mumbles. Alright, so we're in Pollen now. I think I'm just going to go and do some book learning. I want to get biology up. Biology's pretty low. You're not sure what to expect from life sciences class this soon after Professor Hal's death. He was the teacher back on the ship. Who could possibly replace him? You take your seat in the classroom. There's no other teacher here yet. You and the other students wait, exchanging awkward glances as time passes. Eventually, Chief Engineer Instance breezes through the door. She's accompanied by Tang, who takes a seat beside you, barely giving you a second look. Life sciences, Instance snaps. Who can tell me what it is? She points at you. Solana, start us off with the correct answer, please. Biochem, Medicine, Ecology, Geology. You easily rattle off the subject names. Instance doesn't look pleased, but she doesn't look disappointed either. That's about as good as you ever get from her, honestly, so you can count that as a win. Tangent stops you on the way to class. Solana, were you heading to life sciences? Good. I could use your help with something, actually. I'm working with Chief Engineer Instance in the biolab. If you give me a hand with it, I'm sure she'll give you credit for the class. Of course I'll help. Honestly, admits Tang, we just need someone to label Petri dishes and move them from the cooler to different machines. A hop-eye could do it. Instance is staring unfocused at her hollow-eye as she processes the results of the scans. Tang goes and stands beside her, pulling up the scan on her own holopalm. They confer quietly while you wait. Sounds like they're studying the shimmer, the mysterious illness some colonists get during pollen every year, including your dad. Instance looks up at you as if just noticing your existence. Ah, Solana, she says, we've been studying samples from some of the colonists who get sick during pollen, including your dad. Some of the stuff in his lungs, it's some kind of fungus. We think the simmer is a form of reproduction, Tang explains. It's like a fungus is trying to turn us into more fungus like it. It's really neat, actually. More like ultra creepifying. Oh, that too, Tang replies, though she looks more excited than scared. We'd be much safer if the surveyors just set fire to it all rather than trying to study it. Who knows what else is out there trying to kill us? You spend the rest of the week helping them study the illness. Mostly this involves following instructions and doing, as Tang loves to repeat, jobs a Hop-Eye could do. Nothing beats hands-on experience, though. This would be easier if we had an actual sample of the fungus, Instance remarks. They're working with some biological samples, a fancy word for snot, but according to them, the fungus is all mixed in with human cells. Instance has to spend a lot of time in vert space trying to disconnect the two in her models. Where could I find a sample? Our most useful reports have been from foragers returning from the Valley of Vertigo, she tells you, where the pollen is thick all year. That might be a good place to start. Get to work. Okay. Alright, well, let's put that there. And we'll put that there. Can I make that any better? Apparently. Okay. So, here we are in late pollen, and I think we're probably going to leave it there for now. This is coming to around about the hour mark, I think, on the video. Quite a lot happened this time. We've had another death in the colony. Dad's got sick, and we're researching the disease in the hope of finding a cure for it. So yeah, quite a lot going on. But hopefully you'll come and join me next time. And I hope if you enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button and subscribe as well. Leave a comment, let me know what you think about this game and the playthrough. That'd be really, really good to see. And I hope to see you next time for more I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. Bye for now.